Now let's bring in journalist Inzamam Rashid, who is live for us, overlooking the Strait of Hormuz. This is also a major factor here that's driving up energy prices. There have been multiple attacks this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Look, it isn't just the attacks overnight at some of those energy sites across the Gulf that is rising up oil prices. It is, in fact, what's happening here on the waters behind me on the Strait of Hormuz, where Iran has had de facto control over these waters militarily for the last few weeks, not allowing many ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Usually around 20% of the world's oil passes through here. Instead, what they've been doing is they've inciting fear on many of the ships that are now parked up, anchored down in these waters behind me. To my left, there are dozens and dozens in the Gulf of Oman, if not hundreds, where you can see at nighttime with their lights on, just sat waiting for some form of green light to pass through this now very dangerous and perilous waterway. And it is dangerous and perilous because Iran continues to attack vessels overnight. Yes, again, we saw a vessel just off the coast of Fort Khan, just a few kilometers down from where I am at the entrance of the Strait of Hormuz. There was a vessel that was attacked there. A missile had hit there, and that vessel was alight and burning for most of the night. And then just off the coast of Ras Laffan, where, of course, we saw that huge attack by Iran on Qatar's energy infrastructure there. It seemed that a vessel off that coast also had been struck late last night as well, meaning that waters in these areas, particularly around the Strait of Hormuz, still remain very unsafe. I think that this is now very much not just a military war that we're seeing in this region. It's very much an energy and an economic war as well. And a lot of that is being fueled by the activity here on the Strait of Hormuz. We know that in the last 24 hours, the US targeted Iranian missile sites just around 50 miles in that direction on the coast of Iran, where Iran has been using those sites to target vessels in these waters. It would also use those sites if there was any suggestion of US Navy vessels or even European Navy vessels escorting some of these ships and oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the US forces said that they targeted those sites with bunker-busting bombs. We have no idea whether that caused any damage, whether those sites are still available to work. But clearly, with an attack just not far from where we are and not far from the Iranian coast, there was a missile attack there, suggesting that an attack could have come close from one of those sites that it seems that the US potentially targeted. But clearly, this is still very much a quiet waterway right now, still many boats and vessels parked up waiting to pass through. And those hike in oil prices that we are seeing, the highest since June 2022, that's happening because of this strategic waterway remaining shut.
Inzamam Rashid, we appreciate your reporting from the Strait of Hormuz. Thank you.